Okay. As a target video today, my brain is manipulated in so many ways. And as you're being manipulated, what's happening is they're trying to convince you that you're not being manipulated, but you're just assessing and putting things together to make sense of what's happening today. That they just went through everything and saw that you are this way because we've been analyzing your brain. Matter of fact, as I'm saying that, as always, there's always purpose. Their job is to break you down. And one of the piece of resistance, the pièce of resistance, is this person. Now, what's happening today, right? This purpose was to convince you, and they contract this loser around you to make you subscribe to how your brain is being manipulated. I'm being forced to have sexual stimulation toward children of all ages, from the babies to the older kids. And every time they make me have sexual stimulation toward these children, from the little ones to the older ones, they try to make you accepting of that. And they have this purpose contracted to gaslight you, to create a environment where they want you to be subscriptive that they are protecting children. One of the things they've done for me, as today my brain is altering the way I'm getting sexual stimulation, is bringing up this person I follow. Matter of fact, the reason why I'm bringing her again is because I follow her on Instagram at this point, right? And I follow her actually so long ago. In 2014, I follow her like late 2014, like December 2014, I follow her. And as you can see, this is her in 2014. At that point, I'm actually 27 years old, just turned 27. I was 26, 27 years old. If you see the picture over there where she's like has a dress on and like has makeup on, that's her around the same time, about her age now. So you can only imagine today, right? And you can only imagine. Excuse me. You can see something here that at her age, I follow her, thinking that she was an adult. And as you can see here, it's not easy to see to tell that she's not an adult, because actually at that point she wasn't an adult. She just looked that old. If you could look at the age comparison, you would think that maybe that's even the same time, maybe like a different month. You even sometimes like you could even think that one of the pictures when she's younger, when she's actually not an adult, is her when she's older. But if anything, you think that, okay, this is taken within certain, like a short time period. There's a 10 years gap here between when this picture was taken in 2014 to today that you see her with dress. Now, of course, today she has makeup on. She's definitely elevated in the sense that she has done things in regard of like skincare, and she has like makeup that's expensive because she's an adult. She can afford these things. Versus before, she didn't have all that, so she looked, more natural, in the sense of like she didn't look as well done, but as put together. But that's just the makeup and everything else that make her look like. But if with that makeup, you will not even know what age is who there. If I put that in the mix, you won't even know when she's older and younger. In some cases, she looks even younger today than before. It's weird. But even if you think that she's looking younger, you don't think she's like, oh, like this is 10 years ago. You think she's an adult. So for me, I was at the age of this woman at that point, right? 26, 27. This picture, I think she's 26 years old or so. But I was like 27. I followed her, thinking she was an adult, because look at her. Look at her. Actually, I follow her in between the picture where she's in black and in picture where she's in white, like right in the middle. Not even in the middle, like the late December. I follow her, December 2014. So the older picture is when she's in black over there, you see, which actually she looks older in this picture. And shortly after, she posted those pictures over there. So I follow her in between those two pictures. And of course, I'm looking at her as like she's definitely an adult. And on top of that, she lived in a dorm. So I always thought she was in college. Now, today, as they make me have this sexual stimulation to teenage kids, they want me to be accepted of these manipulations. It's like, you see, by 2014, you follow her. It's like, look how I follow when I was 26 years old, 27 years old. Look, I think, yes, I was how old was I? Was that? I think I was 20. Yeah, I was 20. Yeah, 27. 26 was 27. I think I was 20. Let me just see. Yes, I just turned 27. So maybe I'm a year older than her in this picture. I'm following her in 2014 looking like that. I was going to pick up some pictures when she's like more like recent, but today she works, all her pictures are filled with makeup, and she has eyelashes and things like that. That obviously makes her look different. It looks so older and more taken care of. But I think that makes my point here. This is who I follow when I was her age at the time. You understand when if you saw somebody like that, you think that, oh, this person is within my age, like not my, she's like in her 20s, because at that point she's already looking like her in her 20s. Matter of fact, if you look at her today versus there's not a lot of changes. There's not a lot of difference. You actually might think this is like a few months ago. Max, maybe, okay, that's maybe 2-3 years ago. But these purpose have been using this as like, now you like teenager because in 2014 you followed this person when I was the age of this woman now. At that point in 22, like today. And so today what they did is like she posted an older picture of her before I even followed her. And it's her with her friends. At that point she does look more like a teenage kid. Those are that picture. This video is even before these pictures are even taken. A few years, enough years, like maybe a few months or a year, a month or a year before. But after I already follow her, looking the way she's looking today, and so it's like, no, but I see there she look like an actual teenager. It's like, this is the older pictures. When I follow her, she looked like this. She was a little older than what you see in black over there, and a little younger than what you see in white. That. And they try to gaslight me. It's like, no, that's proof that you love teenager. They forced me to get sexual stimulation toward teenager kids of all ages. I'm like, never. This is your validation that I follow somebody. By the way, when I say follow, I literally mean I just follow her social account. She traveled the world. She does great. Like she live a very fulfilling life. Looking, at least it looks like it. She travel and everything else. Actually, very cool stories. But they try to do everything possible to gaslight me, and I'm not even putting filter on this person at this point. I want people to see the reality, how obvious things were. That this is their validation. That when I was the age of her today, when you see this picture with her in a dress, and that's the age I was when I followed her in 2014, when she was not an adult over there in 2014. If you look at the difference between those two, how much you think how much would you guess the difference is? Matter of fact, if I mix things around, would you know who's younger and older? If I took up, if there was pictures of no makeup, you will not even know. You will not. That's why I have the picture with the hat on. Not because I want to cover it. It's just like without the makeup, that's when you realize, oh my gosh, she was looking this same way when she was when she was not an adult, when she was. And today she just stopped aging because she was always looking that age when she was not an adult. She's been looking like she's in her 20s since she was 17 years old. And even younger, because and so me in my 20s, looking like being the age she is, I'm looking at her, oh, she's an adult, I'm going to follow. And it's funny because you always like, you attract. It's like, can you imagine saying that? Oh, you attract. Look, you follow her. It's like, I would imagine This girl that you're seeing on the right is the age I was when I followed her when she was on the left. How much of a difference do you see there? And by the way, let me just say this again. I've never interacted with this person, never even to say hi, hello, nothing. I just watch her stories, and her stories are just, they're cool stories. She travels the world, she parties, she goes to the club, she does this and that. She's in a relationship, she's just living a good life, what appears a fun life. So it's not even somebody I even ever interacted with. It's somebody who I thought was an adult. It's like, okay, I'll follow her. Go through, see her adventures and whatnot. Very fun. Very fun, like, life. And I'm like, but so they've been using that. Now, today what's happening is this one picture when she's her and her friend are dancing. And they, at that point, it's like, oh, they look very teenagey. But those are even older pictures. Before I followed her. Maybe a few months before, I guess. But I'm like, oh. And today, mind you, I'm much older too. So I'm like, oh. But this is who I was following at the time. That's how she looked like. I'm taking this picture from like 2014 before I even followed her. And then in white, it's like a few months after I followed her. It's in between that. And that's been the validation for them. Can you imagine? And you look at her today when she's like 26, 27. Not much difference except great makeup. Except now she definitely is an adult woman who can afford to get good stuff. She can afford to look, like more, what's the word? Afford things that make her look even better. Without the make, they look literally the same. In some cases, she looked even younger today than then. And I was the age of this woman today when I follow her. And so to see these people try to use that to gaslight me, and today because she posted a video, a friend, an old friend who was friend with her when they were a teenager, have videos of them dancing, and in those videos they look very teenagey. And I was like, oh, they look very kid-like. But that was before I started following her. Before that picture in black, and definitely before the picture in white. I followed her right after she took that picture in black. Well, right after, I think December, because I think that this picture in black was like maybe the summer of 2014. I followed her in December 2014, and this was like a few months later, maybe 2015ish, like fall or around, or maybe or something like that. And so in between, I followed her. And matter of fact, the picture when she's like in in black looks like she's older there. But I follow her right in between those pictures were taken. Hence, the reason why I was confused. I thought she was an adult because she looked that much like an adult. So today is just playing my brain, messing with me, disturbing me. And they're trying to break me down. It's like, no, you see, it's like she looked like that when I follow her. Actually, those two pictures are perfect because one is the before I follow her, shortly before, then a few months after. I think that picture is like fall 2015, like the one in white, and the other one is like summer 2014. And they try to mess with me. Now, I know that's the things they do. I will never identify with this. I know who I am. I know that today I'm being manipulated. Their validation is me being the age of her at that point here in 2024. Following her when she was not an adult, but looking like an adult at that point in 2014. I just want to put the reality in their face. I don't want to put filters anymore. But that's the truth. And today they try to gaslight me, to use that as their validation. These pictures are literally taken from her profile. One before I follow her, the other one after I follow her. That is the validation that today they use to make me acceptive of this manipulation. That obvious. In some cases, you will be confused. That's why I had to put it side by side. And it's not even the makeups. The makeup is just kind of covering up how much young, like how much she looked the same. The makeup makes her look a little bit older in a sense, but she doesn't look older. Matter of fact, in some cases, she looks even younger. So today they're framing me with teenage kids. It's like, nah, you like teenagers. Like, no, I don't. You fucking nasty shit. But you're having kids, underage children, pretending they ain't getting raped by me. It's so disturbing. And to try to make me accept of the manipulation, they make me think of when I followed this person at that point when she was looking like that. And today, because there was like a old picture of her, an old video of her, that her friend had when they were like, when they were like 16 years old, something like that, before I even followed her. Before these pictures were taken, by the way, to try to make me accepting of this. And at that point, she definitely looked more like a teenager. I'm like a teenage kid, by the way. But it's like, I wasn't following her then. I followed her when in between of these pictures. That's why I was confused. This is literally taken, like this is go on her Facebook. You'll see those old pictures in 2014 and 2015. One before I followed her, and the other one after. So the reason why I do that is because today I'm being manipulated in this way, but I just like to put the reality in their faces to show how obvious things are. You're going to try to use the fact that this person looked like an adult, me following her thinking she's an adult, when I'm at the age of this and of her today, in her 26, 27 years old. Seeing how they even look so much alike. Well, not even alike. They look like the same age. I'm just saying, this is why somebody might think that this person is an adult. She looked like she was in her 20s when she was in her teens. That's why I follow her. I thought she was... Look at her. She looked the same. So for me, it's just like this. This is the ocean I kept talking about. That they try to use to validate me. Validate this manipulation. It's like, you follow her. It's like, look at what she was looking like when I was her age today. You even notice the age difference between those two. Even though there's a 10-year gap between these pictures. For me, I used any validation to try to bring me back to reality. And they try to counter that by bringing whatever they can to negate that. These are pictures of one before I follow her, the other one after I followed her. You hear the noise campaign. This is like the compromise battlefield. It's not even compromise. This perps contracted by these governmental entities to try to gaslight me. Because today somebody's a friend of her did show a video of her even before I started following them. Even before these pictures were taken. Because they want to break me down to accepting these things. This is how pathetic this low life are. Target individuals stay strong and see this trash for what they are. And I'm glad that this person made a noise campaign to clearly hear what they do.